Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Thank you all for joining me for this live stream. Really appreciate it. Let me know in the comment section where you guys are watching from. Today, we're going to be covering a topic that is really crazy. Independent journalist and activist Leroy Truth, a good friend of mine, was attending a church service that was basically a political rally for, the governor and Jim McGreevy. We'll get into the details in a little bit, but I want to show you exactly what happened. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state. Take a look at this video.
Why are you asked to exit the church?
For what reason? I'm here to pray. I am here to pray and enjoy the service.
There's no issue here.
I understand. You're going to break the law. Number one, officer, I have no issue with you, officer. Yes, you're going to break the law.
I understand what you're doing here. You're being asked to exit. If you do not exit, you will leave.
What am I doing? Hey! What are you doing? What are you doing? Out! Out! What the hell are you doing? Paid actor. He's a paid actor. Hey, what are you doing? Let's go.
What's the issue here?
What is the issue? What?
I'm gonna walk on my own accord. You're not law enforcement. Don't touch me.
Let's go.
I'm gonna walk on my own accord. I gotta gather my belongings.
All right, to talk about this further, I'm going to bring up Leroy Truth himself, as well as Full Court Press, who was there that day. He was the one recording the video, so you can get a good idea of exactly what transpired that day. Leroy, Full Court Press, thank you for joining me.
Hey, thank you very much for having both of us, Sean.
So I kind of want to go over at the same time this article here. Let's see. I want to put it where everybody can...
Oh, you mean the propaganda hit piece?
Yeah, the propaganda hit piece by the HUD Post here.
Yeah.
The title is "Police Forcibly Remove Self-Proclaimed Journalist from Jersey City Church." So you see how they have to just add that self-proclaimed there, because they self-proclaim themselves to be journalists because they went to, a school, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this education. Journalism is about the truth, holding truth to power. And that's what Leroy does. That's what we all do here as independent journalists. So, Leroy, why were you at the church?
Excuse me. The reason I was at the church is I had been asked by many people to attend, and they had sent me these flyers. And it turned out that Governor Phil Murphy was going to formally endorse the disgraced ex-governor Jim McGreevy for mayor of Jersey City, New Jersey. And first
in a church,
a
political endorsement in a church and during a church service.
Right, exactly. During a church service, not a separate event. And this church was the Monumental Baptist Church in Jersey City. Beautiful church, beautiful. And when I saw the flyer, I said, this can't be. They're literally having a blatant political rally disguised as a church service. And that, of course, violates the 501c3 separation there. They can't do that. So I went there to observe. And I'm a very spiritual man as well. And I look at the church, like, for example, as neutral ground. When I'm there, it has nothing to do with politics, even though they made it about politics. And it's, like the John Wick movie, and they have that hotel. I forget the name of the hotel. And
right.
They have it's a safe ground for everybody. So I was literally just going to experience the service, sing some hymns, and then just see how political Governor Phil Murphy and Jim McGreevy make it. And it turned out it was super political. And then after the service was done, my plan was to go outside after the service and then outside the church to attempt to ask Jim McGreevy and Governor Murphy some questions about their alleged corruption and various criminal allegations against them. But I didn't get to attend.
I bet you didn't. So let's start reading this. Let's start reading this article here. A worship service. This propaganda hit piece against Leroy here. A worship service at the Monumental Baptist Church on Sunday was disrupted when Leroy Truth, a self-proclaimed investigative journalist, was removed by law enforcement. The incident has sparked controversy, with Leroy accusing the church of violating his rights. According to the source, the Truth began playing the piano without permission from church leaders and had to be asked to stop. Witnesses report that he later filmed inside the church, a private property, and pointed questions about former Governor Jim McGreevy and Union City Mayor Brian Stack, which left congregants uncomfortable. Officers were eventually called to remove him. So I guess we'll stop there, Leroy. What are they referring to about give people the truth, right? Leroy,
Right.
truth. Give people the truth. What happened with this piano? What happened with the congregation feeling uncomfortable, apparently, that you were recording inside of the church? Give the viewers what actually happened.
All right. Now, first of all, the HUD Post is a total rag that is the propaganda arm of Mayor Brian Stack and Senator Brian Stack. The only thing they got right in there, Sean, is when they quoted me that said the church violated my rights. And Jim McGreevy certainly violated my rights. But all the other pieces are either untrue or distortions. To start off, they said it happened during a worship service. It happened actually 5 minutes before the service. And sources tell me that Governor Murphy and Jim McGreevy said, get him out of here, because I just started investigating and exposing disgraced ex-governor Jim McGreevy. And so right in the beginning of the article, it's inaccurate. It happened before the church service. Now, when it comes to the piano playing, I'm a multi-Grammy award-winning pianist. A lot of people don't know that. And I also used to be a music director in many churches for years and years, a choir director, organist, pianist. And as people were coming into the church, I noticed no one was playing music. And it creates such a beautiful atmosphere to be able to have some type of spiritual music as people are coming in. So I saw the music director there, and he was setting up with the choir and the band they have there. And I introduced myself to him, and I told him I'm a professional musician as well, and that I used to also be a music director for many years. And I asked, can I play a song on the piano? And he said, absolutely. And so I went to the piano and I played a beautiful.
The director.
Yeah, this was the music director of
the music
church.
director. You asked him if you could play a song on the piano. He said absolutely.
Right. He said absolutely. Okay. So I played a song on the piano, a single song, and then I ended the song. And when I ended, the music director's name is Daquan McKnight. Wonderful, wonderful young man. Love the guy. And after I got done playing, he said, "Oh man, why'd you stop? Play more." I said, "No, it's all good. Thank you, so much for letting me play. Good for now." And then maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, there's still no music playing. And I've been playing all my life. And I asked him, can I play again? I didn't assume I could play again, to create the beautiful spiritual atmosphere. And so he said, yeah, absolutely. Play another song. So I played a song called Open My Eyes, Lord. One of my favorite songs, beautiful spiritual Christian song. And just as I was about to end the song, some random guy comes up to me and he says, just to let you know, you can't play the piano here. Like I said, well, I actually got permission from the music director.
Right.
And he said, oh, but you can't play. It's all right. And I finished my song. I mean, I was almost done with it. And I, happily left. And then if you would add full court press, and you had, recorded that because I,
right.
As I was
so
playing,
we weren't recording anything up until that point. So he played the beautiful song. I decided that was a good opportunity to record him playing the song, right? That's the only thing I was recording. I recorded him. And then I said, who's the music director? And he pointed him out to me. So I went up to the music director and I thanked him for allowing Leroy to play a second time. And he said, no, anytime, man, no problem. So everything was all good.
Yeah. And then we sat down, and it was maybe 10 to 20 minutes later. And we're sitting in the pew, and I'm either praying or sometimes full court press and I are talking quietly, as many others were. And we did see, by the way, numerous other cameras, including some big cameras that were there. Now, this was not
right, because it's a political event inside of a church service.
Exactly.
Right.
Posing as a church service.
Right.
And I just want to really quickly, I want to get into the political players, because for those of you who do not follow Leroy Truth and his investigations, he is a major thorn in the side of the corrupt politicians in the state of New Jersey, from the governor all the way down to, local politicians and mayors like Brian Stack, who has thrown him out of meetings before, had him arrested, big history there. But there was political figures in this church service, and Leroy was there just to enjoy the church service as well as to investigate and look on to see what was going on. I thought everybody was welcome in church.
Right. I thought that as well. And it was a beautiful church. I really, loved the atmosphere, and had, briefly said hello to some people. They said hello to me. They were very warm and friendly. Beautiful, beautiful congregation. And then as we're sitting there, Full Court Press just happened to turn around, and he said, "Oh, look, Jim McGreevy just came in the back of the church." Within 2 minutes, there are someone that claims their security. It looks like some deacons or pastor or something are telling me that the main pastor wants to talk with me. It's like, this is weird. Why does the pastor want to talk with me? I said, well, he wants to talk with you. So I'll have him come here. No, he wants you to go outside and talk. I'm not going outside. I know what they're doing at this point. They're trying to get me out. Like, this is bizarre. And then I hear one of them say, "I'm going to call the police." This was completely politically motivated. And so then within a few
because none of these problems happened until Jim McGreevy, the former governor of New Jersey and the candidate for mayor of Jersey City, arrived inside of the church for his political event where he was going to be endorsed by the governor.
Right. And I
None
actually
of this drama happened until they arrived.
Exactly. And I actually got there very early because I thought it would be packed with long lines and metal detectors, and there was none of that. So I was there for 2 hours and just literally praying quietly. However, because I was there so early, the wife of the security guard, who I think is running for council somewhere, she thought I was, I don't know, maybe part of the church or something, but she saw me there being, in prayer. And at one point she said, "Hey, would you help to make sure that all the dignitaries, that their seats are saved for them? Would you make sure that Mayor Stack's seat is saved and Governor Phil Murphy's seat is saved and that Jim McGreevy's seat is saved?" And I said, "Sure." And then at one point she says, "Would you also escort Governor Murphy's wife, Tammy, to her seat?" I said, "Sure, I would do that." And that's before I got arrested.
Right.
I mean, not arrested,
not arrested, but thrown out.
And
so he comes in, they tell you to leave. They said they want you to talk to the pastor, right? They want you, the pastor of the church wants to speak with you. What happened? We're watching what happened next, but what happened? Police arrived and Full Court Press. That's when you started recording, right? That's when you started recording the image, the video. Right now.
I had recorded a couple of things earlier than that, but it was actually 10:53. It was actually 7 minutes to the start of the thing, and Leroy literally said, "You know what? I'm going to say a quick prayer." And I said, "Yeah, you know what? Me too." And we stopped. I stopped recording him at that point, and he literally bowed his head down and prayed, which I thought was great because we were actually having a conversation how we were feeling the vibe. There was a good energy in there. Outside of the gentleman who we weren't sure at that point whether he was security or not. Because
is this the deacon or the security guard right here in the sunglasses?
Yeah, that's the head security guard, and he's the husband of someone named Randy Wilson, who's a major Jim Greevy supporter, and she's running for some type of office as well.
It's Brandy Warren, and she's running for councilman of or assembly of Ward A. I think it's councilman of Ward A.
Right, there we go, Brandy Warren. Right.
Yeah.
So they never told you
his name is Chris Warren.
The audio is really hard to hear on this anyway. I took away the audio. We'll watch it again maybe later in a little bit. We already watched it, but there was before he started recording. Was there any reason other than the pastor wants to talk to you?
No,
that they were asking you to get up.
Because I was asking why. No, the pastor wants to talk with you, and later sources told me it was specifically either Jim McGreevy, Governor Murphy, or both, or one of their minions told the pastor they had to get me out of that church. And there's a separation of church and state. And I don't think, Sean, that this has ever happened where not just a journalist, but a man praying is violently ripped out of a church because a politician who I am investigating and exposing his corruption, Jim McGreevy, wanted me out of that church. I mean, this is unheard of. It's disgusting, despicable, absolutely wrong.
It's definitely the first time I've seen it. And up until that point, no one, even including the gentleman who we believe is security, has said a word to me. No one has asked me to speak to anybody, asked me to leave, anything of that nature. That was the first time that anyone had spoke to me directly. Take note of that clip right there, Sean, that very one that you just had. there's a gentleman whispering in the ear
Right
of the
there.
police officer there.
Right.
Um,
That's one of the security detail of Governor Murphy. And right before they go hands on, that guy right there to the right of the right police officer. He's
Right.
and
I
he's
see him.
a state trooper, probably security detail. I'm trying to find out his name, but he said something to that officer.
see his earpiece hanging out.
Yeah,
there.
you can see it right here. You can see his earpiece. So he's part of the security detail for the governor. Again, where the governor was going. This is not just the governor and an ex-governor that's running for political office just going to church together. There was cameras there. This was a spectacle. This was them utilizing the church as a backdrop for a political event.
And they were actually streaming live.
What's going on here? This is not just a regular church service. And again, Leroy was playing the piano. You know, he had permission to play the piano. But speaking of that, let's go back to this hit piece here so we can go down further on the timeline and see what. And I want you all to see clearly what the mainstream corporate media, who are bought and paid for by politicians, what do they say about things that happen? Again, they report that he didn't have permission when he had permission from the music director. Truth posted the video of him playing the church piano with the caption, "Grammy-winning pianist and investigative journalist Leroy Truth violently removed from Monumental Baptist Church while praying, exposing Jim McGreevy and Reverend Daryl Griffin's monumental hypocrisy." Truth also claimed to be a 5-time Grammy winner, but records suggest otherwise. Under his given name, Leonard Filipowski, he contributed as a pianist to a Grammy-winning Polish polka albums by Jimmy Sturr and his orchestra in the 1990s. While he was part of the Grammy-winning projects, there is no evidence he personally received an award. So what about these claims, Leroy? What do you make about the claims that the HUD Post is making there that you are not a Grammy award-winning pianist?
And again, and what they're doing is they're distorting the facts. And I used to play with this extraordinary band called the Jimmy Sturr Orchestra. It was a Polish-American polka band. And we traveled all over the U.S., some of Europe. And I was on multiple Grammy records with the band. And I performed on piano with the band on multiple records. And I also was the composer of the title track of one of the records called I Love the Polka. And that could be seen online. It's on Wikipedia. I Love the Polka. You can look it up. And it's under my legal last name, Filipowski, which I use a different name, of course, for my journalistic work. And they're saying, well, there's no proof I actually received a Grammy, like in other words, a physical Grammy.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know when it comes to the Grammys that the big categories like Best Rock Album and so forth, I think everyone gets a physical Grammy. But in some of the lesser known categories, I believe it's the band leader and the producer get an actual physical Grammy. And then if we choose, we can get a certificate that says, yes, we were on a Grammy-winning album. And the fact is, if any musician plays on a Grammy-winning album and that album wins a Grammy, including the title track of the album I Love the Polka, which won a Grammy, we are Grammy Award winners. So they're just trying to distort things to say, oh,
well, they're trying to discredit you, saying that you probably, they're trying to make it seem like you're making yourself bigger out than what you are, discrediting your credibility.
Right.
Which obviously is not true. It makes logical sense to me that if you were a pianist for a band that won a Grammy, that you won a Grammy,
right?
Whether you have the trophy or not.
But I want to note something here, Sean.
Yeah.
Is that they have had at least 9 private investigators investigate me. I've been surveilled. I've been tailed. They have dug into every part of my life, and this is the best they can come up with.
Right.
No, I mean, putting it in context.
Right. All right. So the propaganda piece goes on to say, in a video posted by Truth himself, he can be heard insisting that he was simply praying and should be allowed to stay. An officer explains in the footage that the church has asked him to leave. When the officer grabs Truth to escort him out, Truth throws himself to the ground and begins screaming. The video, widely shared online, has drawn mixed reactions from viewers. So I guess this is a good time to pull up the video again. Because they're making some pretty crazy claims against you, Leroy, saying that you're lying about the Grammys, you threw yourself to the ground. I will let the viewers be the judge of that. But even you, Full Court Press, why do you think that they're saying that you threw yourself to the ground?
Well, they want to suggest that it was a phony and a staged event, which it
Somebody
wasn't.
said you were a paid actor, right, in the video?
Right.
right as they kicked me out.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Out! Out! What the hell are you doing? Paid actor. He's a paid actor. Hey, what are you doing?
Paid actor.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So why are they calling you? Why do you? Isn't that like the same kind of rhetoric that Mayor Brian Stack uses in Union City, New Jersey, when he talks about you, that you're some sort of operative, paid actor,
Right.
Sent from North Bergen? So if you want to address that, the claims in the article, and address the paid actor claims and paid operative claims.
All right, absolutely. So the only reason, according to Jim McGreevy, that he's running for mayor of Jersey City, and he said this when he announced his candidacy 2 years ago, he said, the only reason I'm running is because mayor and state senator and head of the Judiciary Committee, Brian Stack, wanted me to run. Because Brian Stack wants to take over Jersey City. He basically is the puppet master of numerous cities like West New York, New Jersey, Weehawken, New Jersey with Albio Series and Richard Turner. And Stack actually runs those cities. And they're just a puppet.
Yeah.
And so Stack keeps saying I'm a paid actor, which is not true. No one's paying me. They can't understand there's a man with a mission, like myself on Full Court Press. And please subscribe to our channels as well, especially Full Court Press. And they can't believe that there are men with a mission, that we're not being paid by people, but we don't abide bullies, and we want to expose corruption and make America free again from these tyrants. And they are intrinsically connected. Mayor Brian Stack, who's also simultaneously a state senator, and Jim McGreevy. And so they're the same people there. And they figured I would be there, so they had a plan. My plan was to pray and enjoy the worship service and ask questions after the service outside. But they had a plan, and this was their plan. And by the way, when the policeman on the left in the beanie, and remember his name, Full Court?
Peralta
and Avila, I think it was. And Peralta on the left, when he grabbed my arm, you can't tell on the video as much how much force he was using. And he started to push me down to the ground, and then bam. And there was a lot of pain involved in that as well. So if anyone says, oh, this is a setup, I'm freaking praying. You cannot be more innocent in the world, sitting in a pew silently with many witnesses. And by the way, there's a woman in the front of the pew, and there was a man in the back of the pew that both contacted me through the Instagram comments. Instagram's got like hundreds of thousands of views. I think mine has over 85,000. HUD Post, actually, they have, I think, 160 or 170,000. They posted this video. And they said, one of the guys said, I'm so sorry that I moved out of the way so that cop in the beanie can get there and take me out of the church. And they said, why did they do that? You were doing nothing except sitting there and praying. So the whole idea that I disrupted the service was a complete lie, because the service hadn't even happened yet. This is 5 minutes before the service.
Right. That's why I'm saying, what's the issue? Nothing happened. There was absolutely nothing to happen. And if you notice, he's actually pulling Leroy's arm and trying to drag him through the other officer who's standing in the pew, blocking Leroy. That's a narrow spot. So that's what when he's pulling him through, only his arms could go, and it forced him to the floor.
Yeah. All right. Let's go back to the propaganda post. Is everybody seeing how they're trying to paint this in a different light than what actually happened? Doesn't surprise me that this is what's going on in the media today. Let's see here where we left off at. This is not the first time Truth has been involved in public altercations. In a previous incident, he clashed with a female Union City commissioner in a confrontation that escalated into a physical altercation.
And you know what, Sean? They link to their article about what happened, but they didn't link to the video. Because I have criminal charges against that commissioner who actually, she led a riot of like 6, 7, 8 people against me and pushed me out of a building. And so she assaulted me along with a riot of people, like, 6, 7, 8 people. And again, complete and utter lie, which I have video proof of that.
More lies. Yeah, I've seen the video myself, so I can attest that is not, Leroy has never, initiated any sort of confrontation or altercation with anyone. He's a very peaceful guy. I wouldn't associate him with him if he wasn't. Very peaceful guy, but, Mayor Brian Stack of Union City likes to use his supporters and, political operatives to, try and incite something to make Leroy look bad. That's what goes on. That's the truth. Following the removal from the church, Truth posted inflammatory remarks on social media targeting Reverend Daryl Griffin. In one post, he shared an image of the Reverend with the caption, "I'm the head of security at Monumental Baptist Church, and I love it when Jersey police come and violently drag out an innocent man silently praying in our church." Mwahaha. So I don't understand. What about that makes that inflammatory? Guys, let me know. I'm going to check the comments, but I don't see that as being inflammatory. I think you're just describing exactly what happened to you. Again, is church public property? It's not, but I think that everybody is welcome in church. At least that's my belief system. That's what the church is supposed to believe, is from what I've been told. So, you just being there and political figures such as the governor and the ex-governor who's running for Jersey City mayor using this church as some sort of political event to endorse him, seems to me like you had every right to be there just as anybody else. I mean, you weren't even recording. You weren't even trying to, you had told me on the phone when we talked about this, you were like, I wasn't even there to audit. Like, that's why I wasn't recording. I was there to, enjoy the service and see how this political event occurred inside of this church service. And as you stated to that statute, it is illegal.
Right. Absolutely it is. And we have a big problem, Sean. If in the United States of America, a politician can demand and tell a pastor to remove a man in worship and prayer from a church service. And in the First Amendment, there are even more protections for freedom of religion in the First Amendment than there are freedom of press. So my rights were so profoundly violated by the Jersey City Police and Jim McGreevy and possibly Governor Phil Murphy, for ordering this as well. And it was so egregiously wrong.
So it just finishes up here. It says, Truth accused the church of violating its tax-exempt status by allowing Governor Phil Murphy to endorse McGreevy during the service. He has demanded an apology and investigation into the church's leadership. Churches are private property and have a legal right to ask individuals to leave if their behavior is deemed disruptive. Both Monumental Baptist Church and representatives from McGreevy declined to comment on the incident. Well, of course they did. Why would they want to? They can't, they're going to let this newspaper here, the HUD Post here, do the lying for them and put the spin on it for them. They're not going to get their hands dirty. So churches are private property, and they do have a legal right to ask individuals to leave. They have a legal right to ask not if their behavior is deemed disruptive. They can ask anyone to leave. Really, I've never seen a church ask anyone to leave before. That is just peacefully praying and being in the moment and enjoying the church service and playing on the piano that he was given permission to do. Again, I've never seen such a thing. That's why I think the story's so interesting, that they would forcibly remove you under violence from the church. Let's take a look at the video. If you guys have any closing thoughts here, I wanted to make sure, I know we discussed this, Leroy, we wanted to make sure that the story got out to as many people as possible. So make sure you guys hit the like button and share this video so as many people as possible can see this. This is what Mayor Brian Stack, the governor of New Jersey, Jim McGreevy, the former governor, these are what all these politicians and do in New Jersey. They're very corrupt. Leroy's been investigating them for seems like years now. And he's doing a good job. He's holding truth to power. He's speaking truth to power, and he's doing the job of an independent journalist, what we're supposed to do. He was there reporting, not causing. Look at him. You could see he wasn't engaging in any activity that would disrupt the service. Apparently, people were uncomfortable. I don't know if I believe that. I've been told that many times when I'm recording and doing audits. Oh, this person was uncomfortable. People lie, and people work together to paint the narrative they want to paint.
And they wouldn't be any more uncomfortable with anyone there, as I'm there silently. And I have a very, very important message. The mayor of Jersey City, his name is Mayor Steve Fulop. He is running for governor. And I have called his office twice, and I'm inviting him again. One additional invitation, Mayor Steve Fulop, I know you watch this, is I am asking you to meet with me and to do a press conference with me and to categorically denounce and condemn Jim McGreevy, and if Governor Murphy was involved in this as well, to denounce them both. You have my phone number. Call me tonight or tomorrow. And this is critical to your race as you want to win as governor, because you've been running on a platform of anti-corruption. I'm your guy. I've been exposing corruption, especially of Mayor Brian Stack and now of Jim McGreevy for over 13 months now. So I'm asking you to do the right thing. This happened in your city, because I was told that you didn't want to get involved, that this is private. This happened in your city at a political event where Governor Phil Murphy actually said during the live stream, which I saw later, which by the way, they deleted, but I saved it. I got it. And Governor Phil Murphy said to the pastor, I don't want to make this too political, but well, I guess I already did. It was a political event, and I was violently taken out, ripped out of the pew, Mayor Steve Fulop, by your Jersey City police officers. And I know a number of Jersey City police officers, and there's amazing police there. These were not two of them. Most of the police are awesome there, but these were not two of them. And I want them held accountable to the full extent of the law as well. And I want to meet with you immediately, and let's do that press conference so you can put your money where your mouth is. You say you're anti-corruption. You say you're about transparency. You're running for governor. Show the people who can vote for you, and I'll support you if you do that. Because that shows that you are a man of integrity, and you're going to do the right thing when egregious acts like this happen.
It definitely would show that he had integrity to speak the truth and take the right side of these things. Again, legally, does the church have a right to ask you to leave? Of course they do. I study the law. I'm not a constitutional law scholar, but I study the law, and they do. But again, this is a political event. He was only removed at what I assume to be, the orders or the request of the political figures, the people who think that they have the power. We, the people, have the power. Leroy Truth, Full Court Press, all the independent journalists and activists that are doing, the grunt work and taking out the camera and investigating these corrupt politicians. We have the power all together. They are just men. These are just pathetic men that use law enforcement officers to do their bidding, as you see here, throwing a peaceful man out of a church. Again, I just wanted to cover the story because I think this is absolutely insane. I don't know if the church, the political figures have some sort of power over the church that, they felt compelled to comply with this request. Maybe, I don't know what the reason would be. Maybe they're just a political church. I don't know. Final thoughts, guys, before we get out of here. I don't want to make this too long.
All right. I appreciate everyone's support. I'm going to be coming out with a video. We have very little video of this because Full Court Press and I were not recording most of the time. We're praying and enjoying worship. This was not an audit. So when people are saying, let's see the whole video, there isn't a whole video.
Right. This is the only video that we have.
Right.
Unless you want to watch Leroy playing the piano.
Right. Which I'm going to include that. I'm going to post that probably Thursday, and you'll see more, including Full Court Press shake the hands of the music director for letting me play the piano. And last thought is, please subscribe to Full Court Press, my good friend. His up-and-coming channel.
I'll leave the links to Leroy Truth Investigations and Full Court Press in the description below to help you guys out. Show them some love.
Thank you so much, Sean, for having us on here. And also, call FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI, and ask them to investigate Jim McGreevy. I got a whole bunch of stuff I just got on him. It makes your head spin, as I will be exposing him, as well as Senator and Brian Stack. They need to be investigated.
Sources, guys. I got to tell you, he's got some good sources. He's got some good information. He's really putting, the screws to the corrupt politicians in New Jersey. So I'll be definitely on the edge of my seat watching, Leroy. I like to support you any way I can. Thank you for doing what you do, man. Thank you, Full Court Press. You've always been a good friend to me, and good guy. Hope to see you guys in person soon. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Take care. All right, guys. So appreciate you joining me for this live stream. Any live stream I do, I don't do them too much, maybe once, so every 2 weeks or whatever, but there's certain things that are breaking and they're very short videos, and I want to bring it right to you so you guys can see everything. And, thank you for those of you who signed up to be a member. Thank you for those who are members of the channel. I really appreciate it. Again, go subscribe to Leroy Truth Investigations. It will be in the description below. I'm going to do that right after I end this video. And to Full Court Press, appreciate them coming on. Stay tuned to the channel. There's some billboard truck videos coming soon, so make sure you have notifications turned on so you do not miss it. We are not going to let these tyrants get away with what they're trying to do to me in my own town, my hometown of the town of Brookhaven, New York. They're trying to silence me and retaliate against me, levying $75,000 in fines against me. It's insane. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Peace.